actually started transferring oil from those settling tanks into that port 5?
Yes.
So that is on the way?
Yes, that started around 1300 today.
Okay, so, and I wonder if you could just explain what's it like on deck for the salvors at the moment, because with those gases, with the material that's decomposing in the containers?
It's a nice day up there for a starter, but that has its benefits and disbenefits in that some of the containers, which there's one particular one that they avoid, which has got rotting hides in it, and so you can smell it a long way away, and so they just avoid that particular area. And the other containers are quite well sealed, especially the reefers, the refrigerated ones, so they haven't been breached. But there are patches where it's quite smelly. It's like a garbage bin, except it's a very big garbage bin, and it's quite unpleasant. The rest of it, down inside the companionways, it's just hot, it's stuffy, it's dark. You have to be very careful. I measured the slope in this auditorium. The slope, if you look at the handrail over there, that's 15 degrees. The ship's on a 22-degree list. And so when you think about walking up decks, which are slippery with oil and all the rest of it, it's steeper than this auditorium. And then throw into that, you're carrying a 6-inch hose, which is probably 12 feet long, weighs probably 50 kilos. And you're doing that, and you're lugging these great big things. Then you've got the guy inside the fuel tank, lugging around a 100-kilo pump in this slippery environment. So everything's really hard for these guys. It's not a simple job of throw a pump in one place and pump it out to the other. Everything makes it just really hard.
Can I just confirm the figures given to us by the Environment Minister? The oil count now at 645 tonnes?
Yes.
And that was 164 pumped off in the last 24 hours. Is that right?
I said I wasn't going to do the maths standing on my feet, so someone else has checked that for me.
Is that correct?
We'll confirm that.
Yeah.
So how much has been pumped off in total now?
That's it. 645 is the total.
645 is what's been pumped off?
Yes.
What's still on board?
So if you look at this diagram, they originally started off in the port number 5, 772 tonnes. The two smaller ones, those are your settling tanks. So those 3 small tanks are now being drained into your port 5. And then port 5 is going into the Awanui.
So approximately still 350 tonnes on board.
We're about halfway, would be the way to put it. And remember that there's a whole lot of other smaller amounts of oil, but big parcels of oil are as described in this diagram.
We'll take 2 more questions.
In terms of the larger pumps, why was that not used from the very beginning?
Because when you start setting up a pumping system, you want to get it in and get it going quickly. And so it was a 3-inch pumping system, and so they put it in place, they got it going, and then once they've got it, otherwise you end up sitting and waiting for all this other equipment and other 6-inch hoses, different types of pumps. So first thing is, get it going, get it quick, start getting stuff off. Then over time you duplicate and you put in additional parts of the system and you improve the system as you're going. And that's what they did.
Last question.
Sorry, I've got a couple of questions for
Okay, thanks.
I just visited a gentleman today out in Cleveland Park who's working the beach grooming machine. He says you guys only gave him the go-ahead today. Why is it taking so long for the society to use that beach grooming machine that's been there effectively since the beginning of the accident?
Beach grooming machines have particular characteristics, and we use them when appropriate. It hasn't been appropriate to use that sort of machinery. And in fact, all we've done so far is just trial the use of those machines.
He said that it would be really effective in picking up some sort of bigger patterns,
We've trialled the machine, we've evaluated 2 machines. One of them is effective, the other one is not. And so we're looking to use the more effective machine.
And is that the one that you're using today?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but there is one machine that has proven to be effective in the conditions as they are at the moment, and that's the one that we're looking to use.
He says he's got a couple more, and he's asked Maritime New Zealand, and he hasn't had any response as to whether or not he can use them. He's just saying he's been really frustrated.
I don't know the detail on that. I'll have to get back to it.
Rob, can I hop on that bandwagon? How certain are you these beach crumb machines will push oil into the sea?
The reason we trial them is to ensure that they don't make matters worse. And if there's any risk that they're going to make matters worse, then we will not use them. That's why we trial them.
And in terms of looking at every offer of beach crumb machinery, have you done that?
We have this.
Can we take the last question now, please?
I've been out to the rock areas earlier today, and they've been using paint scrapers and cloths. Previously they were using dissolvents such as an orange citric to stop. It seems quite hard to get oil off rock in such situations. Is there any other options that you've explored?
It is difficult getting oil off rocks. You can remove it physically, or you can leave it to weather, and there's really not much else that you can do. If you use solvents on it, then you're putting further contaminant into the marine environment. So that's why it's more likely that you either remove it physically, takes time and effort, or leave it to weather. And clearly we want to remove as much as we can physically.